So, the Brooklyn Nets have hired Coach Igor, the man who's coached the Phoenix Suns for only one season, but now he's been lately on the Dallas Mavericks. Besides that, he's a guy who coached and won a championship under Larry Brown. He's worked under Quinn Snyder, a plethora of people. He's a very high-regarded coach. Now, he's coming over to the Brooklyn Nets, who are revamping their coaching staff after, a disappointing first-round exit. And what does Coach Igor bring? Look, he has been more than just a captain of teams' offenses. He was an assistant on the 03-04 Pistons team. He helped the Suns in the Western Finals run in 2010. He's also spent time on the Clippers, Cavaliers, and Magic staffs. But he's a guy who is largely in charge of offensive strategy on most of the teams he's played for, and that is because he runs this. He doesn't run a carbon copy of the Slovenian offense you saw in the past when he was the coach. But one of the cores of his offense was specifically getting Doncic and Dragic attacking downhill in the center of the court, involving horn sets, primarily plays that focus on misdirection, multiple screen actions to create space for the lead guard with players off ball, setting those screens. And the simple aim is to get their two best players, in this case it would be Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So if they run what they ran with Doncic and Dragic, which is attacking downhill center of the court using horn sets, what they would want to do is probably have Doncic use Durant like Doncic and get Durant to be switched onto players using a mismatch and using a combination of dribble handoffs and pick and rolls to frustrate the defense and creating openings for Kevin Durant and Kyrie to shoot over the bigs. And specifically, I think Kevin Durant is going to benefit very well from Coach Igor coming in. And he also will be effectively able to use, Kyrie, given his size, to be able to use him to try to create off the dribble. And I think the misdirections can get very complicated if you have two strong primary ball handlers, but you don't have to worry. You have a secondary ball handler in Kevin Durant and a primary ball handler and our man, Kyrie. So we saw that Slovenia would run a three-man game at top with a big and Doncic setting initial screens for Dragic, and then the big setting up a screen for Doncic to curl back towards the top. I could imagine Claxton being that big, okay, and Kyrie getting, setting a screen, or maybe having a Bruce Brown type guy set the screen for Durant, and then, handing the ball off to either Kyrie, and then Durant gets a screen from Claxton to curl back up for a three-pointer. I could just see a lot of screening actions like that from our guy, and I think just bringing in Coach Igor, who's a guy that Steve Nash very much wanted because of their relationship going back to the Phoenix Suns. I just think he's a guy that you definitely need to keep your eye out. I'm very much a big fan of him. And I think he's going to bring a lot of European stuff that I know a lot of it involves complex action to generate attacking opportunities, which generally, because the athletic advantages aren't great, they work. But in the NBA, Coach Igor has shown that he doesn't run his most complex stuff. The principles remain the same, and he values the center of the floor, so spacing's paramount. The ultimate goal of Coach Igor's primary action is a 5-out pick and roll, creating an open lane to the hoop and getting everything flowing to the rim and creating openings from the outside, which, look, we saw them create space ball out there. It's going to be amazing. I think, and people have to credit him for the architecture of the Dallas Mavericks offense. So I very much think this is a good move on their part. The Brooklyn Nets getting a good coach. And, hey, I know I used the Slovenian actions, and you'd be like, why aren't you explaining the offense of the Dallas Mavericks? Just because as of right now, I can't compare it because we don't know what the Nets roster will look like. Later in the year, when we get closer to the season, I'll talk about it. Peace out.